Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, Larry W. Brooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations. Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. I want to thank everyone in the audience for tuning in this week. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. We have a really exciting episode planned for you. Today's episode is entitled Credit, Your Key to Generational Wealth. We're going to talk to everyone today about how you can reclaim your credit, put yourself on a path to generating generational wealth, and set you and your family up for success in the future. But first, I want to introduce my co-host. He is not only a highly successful real estate broker, he's a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, and the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand. Sitting in with us this week from Brooks & Davis, real estate firm in Houston, Texas. I'd like to introduce the Texas Real Estate King,
Hey,
Larry W. Brooks.
What's up, Rick?
Hey, man. Yo, for the record, let them know where you tapping in with us from, bro.
I'm tapping in, man. And for some particular reason, I've been missing my Thursdays here in the Brooks & Davis corporate office, man. So I'm tapped in our corporate office where we've been at the last 15 years, which is right next to the Reliance Stadium off 610, man, here in Houston, Texas. So I tapped in. I want to come. Our proclamation sits behind me. Some awards myself and Michael have accomplished through HAR and Young Professionals Organization when we were first coming up. So, man, I'm in the building today.
Hey, look, when I first saw where you were gonna stream in with us from, man, I knew the energy was gonna be different with you because it's just something about being in office over at the Brooks & Davis Training Center with all of the activities, all the professionals, the vibe just over there on a Thursday. I already know how it is, so I can't imagine how you feel streaming live from the office, man. So thank you so much for tapping in from that spot in particular.
No doubt, man. Hey, it's been good, man. Actually, was over here. Want to give a quick shout out to my man Taylor Wade from Disruption Nation. He came over, man. Him and Mike did some videos and some content. So it's just been a fun morning, man.
Hey, man, look, man, big, huge shout out to everyone at Disruption Nation. Big, huge shout out to everybody at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to give a huge shout out to our partners over at White Star Title. They had a really great training. The training was entitled Social Media for Realtors, man. It was a great thing. I hope everybody had the opportunity to take advantage of that education and reach out to the people at White Star Title because it's a great title office with some great professionals over there that can make sure your transactions go through smoothly, man. So what's been going on, man?
It was a great training, man. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to have one of the gentlemen that was putting on that training. We're going to have him on a podcast here in the next month or so because he did an amazing job. And I think that is something that could benefit everyone that listens and follows the podcast.
Hey, man, look, it's Thursday, brother. It's been a great week. What's been going on in the past week in your world? What's been going on this past weekend? What's just in the vibe in the real estate community as far as it's concerned for the Texas Real Estate King?
Oh, man, no doubt about it. So, I didn't get a chance to make it on last week when we had our brother Kevin Hartz on, but it was because I had a little bit of delay getting back in from Austin, Texas. I was down in Austin, Texas for Realtor Day at the Capitol. We had over 3,500 realtors show up at the Capitol, man, with none but amazing energy. And what a lot of people don't understand is when we do that Realtor Day at the Capitol every other year, it's for the people and it's for the licensees, right? So one of the things is for those of us that are out here with home ownership and stuff, bills come up and we need to know about what that looks like when it comes to the Capitol. And the real estate party, our party is like one of the strongest in the state of Texas. We're only second to the governor's party. But for the most part, man, we go down. I'll give you a simple thing that we were down telling our representatives. We go and we sit in with the representatives and we tell them what's going on in the industry that we need them to work to protect. And so this year, one of
Right.
the things that really stood out to me that I heard, and it shocked me, was that you have certain areas in the city that are trying. Their homeowners association is trying to ban people from starting gardens in their own backyards. And I'm like, what? You're like, it's not over in the easement, anything like that. You just don't want people preparing their own vegetables and fruits. And so you have homeowners associations that are really trying to ban this. And so, we're reaching out to our representatives and saying, no, we don't, that's not going to be a thing. Like someone purchases a home, they can, if they want a backyard with their own veggies in it, that should be okay. So that's one of the things. It's a small thing, but just think about how crazy that is that you got to go to your representative in order to protect your home ownership rights. And no, as a realtor party, that's one of the things that we do. But there were tons of other things that we met with them about home affordability, what that looks like. A lot of people don't understand. They think when they hear home affordability that they can't, that if it's in a particular area, that if they're not making $30,000 a year, then it might not work. But that's not true. You could be in an area that says the home affordability, the average price, the average person needs to be making at least 130,000. Well, if you're making 90,000, you qualify for some of these home affordability programs in certain areas of the city. So just being able to go up there, talk to our representatives about some of those things was pretty amazing, man. So I do apologize to our guests for not being here, and for the people that love to see us on the show together. But that was very important, and that's for everyone. It's representation.
No, for one, I want to thank you so much for representing not only the agents and the licensees' interest, but also the buying public's interest in that way. I
Yeah.
think it's something that's underreported, but those type of initiatives that the real estate association does as far as reaching out to the politician and those in Austin to let them know the type of things that are affecting
That's
our
right.
constituents on a regular basis. Because to your point, some of the thing about backyard usage and backyard rights are something that people don't ever consider
Yeah.
because we've had the luxury of those freedoms for so long.
Yeah.
So I thank you for not only going to Austin, but I thank you so much for bring that information back and sharing it with our audience, because I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a vast majority of the people that's watching us right now that had no idea
Yeah.
that those type of things were even being discussed behind closed doors. So
Yeah.
it's
It's a big
important
deal.
that it's important. It's definitely a big deal.
Yeah, and
You mentioned
shout out to all the realtors that participate in Tree Pack. So those of you that are new getting into this business, and I speak at Champions, so I bump into a lot of new realtors all the time. For those of you that are new getting into this industry, support your Tree Pack. I think sometimes they only take out 20, maybe $40. Let that go. That's a part of that allows us to be a strong party when it comes to representation. So support Tree Pack.
absolutely. One of the things you mentioned, Larry, that was one of the initiatives that you guys discussed in Austin was home affordability.
Yeah.
And as someone like yourself that's been in the real estate industry for nearly 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
you understand that home affordability has a lot to do with a person's credit rating.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
that brings us to the subject matter of today's show. We want to talk about how your personal credit can unlock the doors to generating generational wealth, how your personal credit rating is the key to opening up the world of real estate to you, the world of investments. So, for those in the audience that are going to meet today's guest for the first time, could you
Mm-hmm.
just share a little bit about you and our guest's background, how you guys were introduced, and how you went about gaining their commitment to sit in on the show today?
No doubt about it. So, for those of you that have never had an opportunity to experience a Brooks and Davis holiday party or a Brooks and Davis social event, you're missing out. So, the next time you hear us talk about one, you need to be a part of it. We just had an amazing one last Thursday where we represented the city. We had beautiful women that came out and we poured into them and their successes in this industry. Y'all missed out on a big event if you weren't able to attend it. But I lead into saying today's guest and how we got her is I met her at one of our Brooks and Davis events, and I just thought her business was exploding. It was amazing how knowledgeable she is about the credit industry and how it is that clients need this in the rebuilding process of their credit, or if they're just someone that's trying to scale their credit to a stronger point. So that's how we met, man. And I'm excited to have her on the show. It's been way too long. We should have been had her on here. But, time is perfect today. It's perfect in this type of market for sure.
Hey, look, man, without any further ado, I'll introduce this week's guest. She is not only a credit repair expert, but she is an entrepreneur and the CEO with yourcreditlift.com. I want to thank her in advance for carving some time out of her schedule to sit in with us. And I'd like to introduce Miss Taquana Clark. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Brooks and Davis family? How you guys doing? So good to
We,
be here.
no
Hey, man,
doubt.
it's a
Good seeing
pleasure
you, Miss
having
Clark.
you. Come on, man. I'm excited, man. First thing first, Miss Clark, introduce Credit Lift, yourcreditlift.com. Introduce yourself and your business to our audience for those who haven't had an opportunity to meet you previously.
All right, so my name is Taquana Clark. I'm the CEO of Credit Lift Inc. We are a local credit restoration company headquartered out of Houston, Texas. Been in business since 2015, and we just have a general passion for helping people get their credit up, give their
Mhm.
credit a lift.
Now, as the expert in this field, I have to ask you, how often do you see people who would otherwise be perfectly qualified for home ownership be held back by something like their credit rating? It could be 5 points, 10 points, 15 points. And
Mm.
could you also speak to us about how disappointing that is for someone who has a goal of home ownership, but something like their credit rating is holding them back?
That's a really good question. I see it way too often, and more so because of the lack of education in the school system on credit literacy and financial literacy, and the fact that that translated over to the household. Well, that's not discussed in the houses as well. It's way more common for people not to know about their credit file. Just to give you a
Mhm.
quick example, I did have one client. She had an authorized user account from her mom on her credit report. Her mom was overextended on her credit profile
Hmm.
on her credit cards. We
Yeah.
removed her mom, her scores jumped up 100 points.
Wow.
So something that small was keeping her from home ownership. Once we got that credit assessed, we were able to get her in a position to win. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very important to know what you're looking at and how to adjust those different factors that play into the credit score.
And it's crazy because those things were a thing back in the days. We never talked about credit, but for some reason, our parents always knew how to put our name on something that allowed them to use the credit. But they never told you about the credit. So you with that right there, listen.
Facts. It's a lot of light bills and cell phone bills and utility bills and kids'
Come
names.
on,
There
no
is,
doubt.
and no one's judging. Mama,
Yeah,
dad, they probably felt like they had to do what they needed to do at that time. But when
that's
you
right.
become an adult and you have to kind of repair those situations because you have a collection that you had no clue about, that's when that stuff comes into play. But yeah,
That's right.
you're most definitely right.
Yeah.
The-
Let me ask you this. I'm curious about this one. Is there do they still hold a real strong hold when it comes to like medical bills? Back in the days, people would go maybe get stitches or get rushed to a medical, and of course, financially, when they see the number, they can't afford it, and they kind of get away from it, and it ends up on their credit. Does that really hold people back, or is it real hard to get that taken off? How's that looking nowadays?
So the good news about medical bills is at the end of last year of 2022, they did change the laws in reference to the medical bills. So they were saying
wow.
initially that any medical bills that were under $500 that were paid will be automatically removed from consumer credit reports. So that's really good news. So now
Yes.
for consumers that don't have the means to pay off a medical bill, as what you were saying, they actually updated it earlier this year in January, where they're going to start omitting medical bills totally. Now, I hadn't seen where they started putting forth the motion and the infrastructure to execute it yet, but it is on the table. They are talking about it, and they do feel like it's a hindrance of people. A medical emergency is out of a consumer's control, so that should
Mhm.
not prevent them from being able to live, become homeowners, things of that nature. So they are discussing medical bills.
Wow, that's pretty, man. That's knowledge. Thank you for being so up to date on understanding and knowing what goes on in the industry. A lot of times you talk to people and they be like, "Well, I thank you, and I appreciate you for just being knowledgeable on how to." Man, that was a perfect. I needed to know that because that's one of the things that I used to always see between that and believe it or not, I would always see Bally's, which is a gym membership on people's credit. I'd be like, how? It was one of those things. Like it was a heavy weight. People who have these type of debts. So thank you so much for answering that for me.
My pleasure. It was one thing too that I want to make a lot of consumers aware of that may be watching this live, which I know is millions of people, right? So first and foremost, the insurance, the auto insurance companies, if you do a policy for 6 months and for whatever reason, a lot of people just get insurance because they need to get a car inspection or things of that nature. So now what they're doing is if they don't continue that policy out for the 6 months, they're adding the balance of that month onto the credit file. So I've been seeing a lot of that too. It could be $96, $100 from farmers,
And they just
State
putting it
Farm.
on your credit.
Ooh, just throw it on there. They just been
Yeah.
throwing it on. I've been seeing it for the last 2 years. So it's a pretty strong trend, and it is affecting consumers in a negative way.
No doubt about it. Wow.
Ms. Clark, I wanted to ask you, because one of the things that's truly valuable about having you on the pod is that people get to put a face and a name with what you do professionally. We all know you can apply for a mortgage loan, and the next day you have 85 people calling your phone, you have emails, you have spam calls. And I can only imagine how overwhelming that can be for someone who's not educated and experienced as far as their credit profile and their consumer credit report.
Mm-hmm.
So, how important is it for you to actually spotlight your brand, spotlight yourself, get out and meet people to put a face with the credit repair industry? Because there's just so many people advertising now that I know a lot of potential home buyers that are just paralyzed because they don't know who to trust or who they can move forward with. So how important is it for you to be out in the public meeting and greeting and just being one with the people who could potentially be your clients?
It is imperative to get out and put a face in front of credit repair, especially because at times our industry can be very what is the word, diluted. It's a lot of scammers moving and lurking about. It's people who have bad experience with credit repair. So it's important to get out, shake hands, to show people that, hey, I am you, you are me. I was that person once upon a time that was scared to death talking about I want to get a house for 3 years paying rent. That was me. I was that person once upon a time that put my baby daddy, on co-sign for some stuff and let it go to collections. That was me. So I'm coming from I'm not judging you. I was you. So let me show you how I am now a homeowner, how I have now improved my credit file after coming from those setbacks from making bad decisions or ill-informed decisions. So I always want to be forefront and very transparent when it comes to credit and all things that it encompasses.
Wow.
You know, the great thing, and we're going to do everything we can to try to not only put a face to credit repair, but make your face the go-to face for that in the city of Houston. So let's just give everyone in the audience an idea how the process works when they become one of your clients. So could you just walk us through the process of someone going to your website, scheduling a consultation, and how they could go about working with you and those at Credit Lift Inc.?
Okay. Also, so from what Mr. Ric Davis said, it is www.yourcreditlift.com. As soon as you go on the website, you will see options to either book a consultation. You can also enroll. Y'all, this eyelash is getting away from me. But
Girl, you better go ahead.
will not win today. Okay, so you can book a consultation. You can go online and enroll right online. We do have DIY products as well. So if you're the type of person like you don't have the money or the budget, or you want to kind of give it a go yourself, because under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you as a consumer can restore your own credit. And that's something that we're very transparent about. Anybody that seeks us out, you can do this yourself, right? Know that the Fair Credit Reporting Act is for you. You know that there's no guarantees with credit repair. If anyone says that, hey, come to us, we can get everything deleted, you better run. You better get down the street because they're running game on you. It's not legal to tell anyone that you can remove anything off of their credit. You can try. It could be a goal. It could be something that you set out to do, but for the most part, it's not anything that you could do. You can promise. There's no promises, no express promises that can be made. The lashes done came off, sweetie, but we're gonna keep it going.
Listen, you did it so smooth though. That's what he that's it. Transformer immediately. It happens. It's okay. That's what we do. We adjust.
Absolutely.
So here's a question that I had as well, and I'm thinking about it. Sometimes I go down these YouTube rabbit holes, right? And so recently, I've just felt like I've just been hearing a lot of stuff about them trying to find ways to change their credit reporting system. Is there anything that you see that leads you to believe that that's something that's going to be taking place here? Or is this just kind of like rumor mills just so that people got stuff going on?
I mean, I do. I'm a avid believer in where there's smoke, there's fire. So if
Mm,
people are talking about it, then there may be some changes on the horizon. But until the Federal Trade Commission releases an official statement
yeah,
about that being the case, and we'll just keep on going,
yeah.
staying the course as we know it. But what I have heard and seen in my training is dealing with they are doing things in a scoring model. So they are going to start considering utility bills. They have a lot of companies out now that report utilities to your credit report, whereas before the rent that you were paying
Yeah.
wasn't being considered in your credit file. But if you go sign up for rent reporters now, 2 years of rental history, and most people pay their rent on time. They want to keep their
Yeah.
rent over their head. So now that's being reported as a good trade line.
Yeah.
People adding their utilities or their cell phone bills or their Netflix subscriptions. They
Mm.
are allowing more self-reporting utility to the credit report. So that's a change that I see coming.
And you think that that's a pretty good for people, right?
Most definitely. I feel like that's even better than a authorized user account that someone pays for someone else's credit. Because
Yeah.
right now,
Mm.
talking to lender partners, they omit authorized user accounts. They looking at your primary. This is primarily in your name. This is your primary account. This is not your brother, sister, cousin, or a trade line you done bought offline. Dealing
Okay.
with mortgage in that situation. So they want to know that it's your credit. I do credit. So my daughter
Mm.
was 18 years old at the time. I had her on all my credit cards, authorized user accounts. Credit score was 800 across the board. She
Mhm.
couldn't even get a $200 card when she applied for it because they omitted the authorized user account. They wanted her to have a primary. So it wasn't
Mm.
until we added her primary that she was able to now get unsecured lines of credit. So that let me see it firsthand, like, oh yeah, they're onto this authorized user game. That
So
when
the
you
score looked amazing, but then it was like it ain't yours. It's because yeah, that's
yes,
the thing. Yeah.
Miss Clark, I have to ask you because we tend to talk and market credit repair to those that have credit scores below 600,
mm.
that are looking to be qualified for their first home loan, that are looking for to be able to be approved for an auto loan. Could you speak towards the importance of maximizing your credit score for those that are above 600, who may be at a 620 but need to be at a 660, that type of thing? Could you
Yeah.
talk about the importance of maximizing your score even if it isn't currently challenged?
Okay, so the importance of maximizing your credit score will be primarily to be able to leverage it, right?
Mhm.
So if a
Mm.
person has good credit, they're in a good way, they may want to go ahead and add a couple of points to be able to leverage it. So now that they can start delving into business credit. Now on the
Mm.
business credit side, they want you to have a 720 credit score, less than 3 inquiries amongst each credit reporting agency. They want your utilization to be 12 to 19%. So if you're starting to make those types of plays as an entrepreneur, which I know all of us are, and a lot of
Yes.
the audience is, you want to make sure your credit score is in a good state to be able to leverage that to now get business credit.
Mhm.
Yes. What
Mhm.
type of services do you offer for those in the entrepreneurial space? Those that want to take advantage of the programs you're talking about, those that are hearing the message that you're sending out and it's resonating directly with them. What type of services do you have for those business owners and entrepreneurs?
So we do offer at Credit Lift Inc. We offer business credit establishment services. So we would
Yeah.
do a consultation first because what a lot of business owners fail to realize because we were not taught. We kind of late to the party, but when we come in, whenever we come in something, we're gonna dominate. They better
Right.
ask Venus. They better ask Tiger Woods. They better ask somebody. When we come in, we're gonna dominate. We may be late to the party, but we're gonna get it when we get it. With
Yeah.
that being said, we don't have our businesses established correctly. We're learning from here. Like you said, we might go down a YouTube rabbit hole. We might
Yeah.
be on TikTok looking at some videos and getting information. But it's so important to learn how to structure the business. So at Credit Lift, we do offer a business assessment. Let's see how you have your business set up. Let's see what may be hurting you. Oh, you have a Gmail account. You have a Yahoo account, and you're a business owner. That's no good. Oh, you're operating from your cell phone. Red flag. Oh, you have your home address. Oh no, 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 flag on the play. So we're able to look at their business structure and see what may be hurting them from getting funding for their
Mhm.
business on the business credit side. All of those key elements are very important when establishing business credit.
Okay.
No, it's really important. I thank you so much for touching on those topics because I wish we could have you on for an hour to go from A to Z and show everyone step by step. But I want to make sure that those in our audience that are business owners and entrepreneurs understand that Ms. Clark can be their go-to for establishing business credit and business structure, while at the same time, those that are looking to buy, sell, or invest and need a bit of assistance with getting their credit rating
Yes, sir.
where can be looked at favorably. They understand that you're the go-to for that as well. But Larry and I, one of the truly great things about having this particular platform is that we sit down on a weekly basis with some of the best and brightest business owners anywhere the world over. So I want to ask you, when you think back to your upbringing as a young lady, were there any members of your family or your close personal circle that were entrepreneurs and business owners that may have been an inspiration or a motivation for you? And if so, how were they able to do that for you?
Oh my God, that's such an amazing question. So first and foremost, I always say that that's my go-to word, I guess. So or phrase. My paternal side of the family, my grandfather, my grandmother, she actually owned a lot of real estate at a very young age, right downtown now.
Oh wow.
Mm,
Off of Crockett Street. All of that has been sold. She made a nice penny off of it, but
Mm.
they got us thinking about it. My uncle Ralph, I cannot get off this live without mentioning him. He was drilling into me credit. He was drilling into me investing in stocks. He was drilling into me real estate. I think he owned 30, 40 houses by the time he was 35 or 40 years old. So if I didn't have that to tap into, I don't think it would have even came on my radar enough. At least he primed me. He planted the seed for me to start being curious about it so I can start doing my own research. So I have to credit him with that. Ralph Thomas.
Wow.
you know,
Shout
because
out
one
to
of
Uncle Ralph.
big
Yeah,
huge
my
shout out.
favorite.
No, because Larry and I talk about on the show a lot how the education, entrepreneurship, real estate, investments, and stocks is something that our children aren't always exposed to at a
Mhm.
young age. And for someone like yourself to have these type of in-home influences is something like a blessing that we can't even explain. So finally, when you go out and you work and what you provide is an invaluable service,
Yeah. And you know,
how warm does it make your heart to go out and actually help people when they actually get to the point where they can reach out to Larry or myself and they're actually pre-qualified for a home loan and they actually get to title,
Yes.
close, and get keys to their first home? How does that make you feel on the inside?
If I tell you I'll be elated, I'll be doing like the happy dance when them children come in and they don't went up and all, them collections, them
Yes.
inaccurate, erroneous accounts. It makes me so happy. You know what they say if you do something that you love, you never work a day in your life. I
come on, man.
genuinely love this industry. I genuinely love the impact that it has on us as a community to be able to be homeowners, to get assets, to just get our kids out of the rat race.
Right.
We deserve to live a fulfilling life and not be locked in into some 9 to 5 where we're not happy and we don't know any better. So
No doubt.
it makes me very happy.
So,
So
Ms.
please,
Clark, do you have and I don't want to use the term favorite, but do you enjoy working more with regular consumers or business owners? I mean, I know that you work heavily with both, but do you have maybe not a favorite, but
Like a
ones that really hit your sweet spot? Which one out of those two?
Okay, so my primary client would be a married couple, right?
Okay.
So when I see two households coming together trying to work towards a common goal, it really does something for me because I feel like the dream is more achievable
Yeah.
in a whole family structure.
Yeah.
No shade to single parents. I was a single parent, for a long time before I got married, but just to see two people coming together, two incomes coming together, both of them seeking it to improve their credit so that they can get a home and then down the line make plays to be investors and teach their kids about home ownership. I just like seeing that dynamic of it, that aspect of it,
That's
dealing
good.
with families.
Yeah. Okay.
so for those members of our audience, Ms. Clark, that want to reach out, tap in, take advantage of your services and your expertise today, could you just share your contact info, how they could go about tapping in with you and become a member of the Credit Lift family?
Yes. So if you want to reach out to us on Instagram, it's at credit under lift. I'm sorry, underscore lift underscore inc. And then www.yourcreditlift.com will get every kind of contact. Go to the contact tab. You can call our 1-800 number. You can shoot us an email at info@yourcreditlift.com. Just reach out and stay connected. And we're just very happy to be a sort of service, a source of information. I'll start a conversation about credit anywhere. So just reach out. We gonna talk. We gonna chop it up.
I want to thank you so much, Ms. Clark, on behalf of myself and Larry. The work that you do is something that I think is underreported and undervalued. So we try to highlight, spotlight, and prop up everyone who giveth of their time, their expertise, their experience to make sure the members of our community that have been traditionally underserved are put in a position where we can close that generational wealth gap. So I want to thank you so much. I urge everyone in the audience to follow you on Instagram. Go to yourcreditlift.com and schedule their first consultation with you today. Thank you so much, Queen, for sitting in with us.
My pleasure. Can I also throw that back at you guys? As soon as I met Shay the building adjacent to you guys, and she brought me over. And if I tell you Brooks and Davis is no real estate firm like you guys, when they say you are a family, they mean that. When it's genuine love and energy, that is real. It's not a facade. So I really appreciate you guys for being, the amazing real estate firm that you are with the energy that you guys give. Is greatly appreciated.
Hey, man, appreciate you. And the check's in the mail, Miss Clark. Don't you trip. Thank you so much, Queen. Anytime you like to sit in with us, you always have a seat with me and Larry. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Come on, LBZ, man. That was fire. That interview there was crazy. See, I think it's the energy that you have from being in the house, man. I don't know if it's the certificates behind you. I don't know if it's the proclamation in the frame. but man, you were on one today, brother, man. So big kudos to you, man, for getting Ms. Clark to sit in with us, man.
No doubt, man.
Larry, I gotta ask you, especially considering Ms. Clark was our guest, man. I'm sure everyone in the audience has been getting their county tax assessor forms.
Yeah.
Telling them about how much their homes are worth, their values. If you've seen a great jump in appreciation, if you feel like this is the time to sell, rent, buy, refinance, you need education, you need someone in the real estate space to guide your decisions in that way, you can reach out to myself at Prime Real Estate Rick. You can reach out to the Texas Real Estate King on Instagram at Texas Real Estate King, because we know we're coming up on April, Larry. We get to that spring, summertime. This is when the real estate industry really gets up and at them. Look, man.
Yeah.
So what you got going this week? What you got going this weekend, man? What's going on in the world of the Texas Real Estate King?
Man, well, actually this week, man, I got to go down to SFA for board meetings, and then I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna probably end up. I'm a member of a running group, and so we're taking our talents to Dallas this weekend to go and run with our sister or brother organization up there to celebrate their 3-year anniversary. So I'm excited about that. Shout out to my girl MT. She introduced me to the group, so just excited about being able to do that. Before we get off, I want to also give a shout out to Rita Santa Maria, the founder of Champions School of Real Estate. Champions is celebrating 40 years, man. That is so crazy to me. 40 years of educating licensees on real estate, home loans, inspectors, appraisers. So shout out to my friend Rita and all of the things that she's been able to do at Champions and the growth that they've had. Super, super happy about that.
Hey, man, look, man, big, huge shout out to everyone over at Champions. Big, huge shout out to everybody over at the office at Brooks and Davis. Shout out to our partners over at White Star Title, man. It's been a great week. Oh, I want to give a huge shout out to Kim Sensations, man, a great organization. They produce body butters. They produce soaps. So we're going to start sharing them. They're coming on as a sponsor with us, man, and we look forward to getting their message out as well. So big, huge shout out to them, man. Hey, look, man, it's a great week so far, man. This weekend going to be spectacular. Yeah. I look forward, man, if you're out and about, come out, get involved in what's going on at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. Follow us on IG, follow us on YouTube. On behalf of myself, Ric Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, we urge everyone out there in the audience this weekend while you're out and about, please be safe and be blessed.
Hey.